Wi-Fi hosts and how to get more involved. I am going to give it just another minute before we move forward with a little education about Wi-Fi. Given the topic of today, which is spotlighting your superpower, I thought it would be fun if everybody could type in their superhero in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and start. Aww. That's so sweet, Melanie. That's awesome. I feel the same way about my dad. Wonder Woman. Sure. Whitney, who's can banning?
Well, it's more of a superpower, not like a person I admire. We'll get into it. Kanbaning. It's my thing.
Oh, okay.
I learned about it today. Yeah.
Wonder Woman, 2 Wonder Womans. Cool. Yeah. Dad one is a good one. Oh, we have another dad. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, yeah. Black Widow. Nice, Tanisha. Oh, yeah. All right. So we are going to go ahead and get started. All right, so Women in the Flooring Industry Wi-Fi is an educational 501c3 nonprofit that attracts, educates, and empowers women in the flooring industry. Wi-Fi activities are available to women and those in support of women in the flooring industry. Programs include scholarships for secondary and continuing education and presenting of professional development and mentoring programs. So it all began with an idea, right? That's where everything starts. What if women in flooring banded together to raise their voices, to pull each other up the ladder, to learn from each other, and to create spaces for giving back to pave the way for new faces? These beautiful ladies make up the Wi-Fi board. And these are the names of the ladies that make up the Professional Development Committee. This group, this is the committee that I'm on. We plan power hours and facilitate the mentoring program. Most of these programs have no cost to the participant. And thank you to our Friends of Wi-Fi. Friends of Wi-Fi is our donor circle that makes it possible to host free events like today's Power Hour. The mentoring program, it's a completely virtual program. This program is designed to help you grow professionally and personally. The next cohort will kick off in early next year, and there is currently the 4th cohort going on with 55 current participants. The scholarships are offered for post-secondary and continuing education. Follow us for updates on when the next round opens. We have a lot of upcoming events. Follow us on socials to get the registration links. And then just highlighting one of the upcoming events. This is super fun. It's an annual fundraiser for Wi-Fi. Tickets are available on the website, and highly encourage those that are in the Atlanta area to take a look at this event. It looks really fun. You can find registration for upcoming power hours right here. This is just a snippet of the website, and we also house archives, recordings, and recaps in this space right here. So lastly, that was kind of all of the housekeeping stuff. So I have the pleasure of introducing my friend today, our Power Hour speaker, Whitney Welch. Whitney is the founder of Whitney Welch Creative Consulting, with nearly 2 decades of hands-on experience in design, sales management, and executive leadership. She has recently shifted to a consultant, coach, trainer, and keynote speaker. Whitney is sharing the strategies, insights, and leadership principles that have made her an industry powerhouse. Without further ado, over to you, Whitney.
Thank you, Erin. I think it's so amazing that Erin gets to host this today. And can everybody give her a round of applause? It's her first time hosting a Power Hour. Nice,
Thank you.
but it's fun that we got to team up because we've known each other a long time. I'm going to share my screen for those of you who use Canva. That's what we're going to be in today. So let me just give me 1 second and we'll get this going. All right. So like Erin said, as most of you, if you do know me, you know that I was at Dow Tile for a really long time. I left back in October and I started my own business. Why not, right? Let's just go for it. So I have established Whitney Welch Creative Consulting in January, and I have not looked back, and it's been so incredible at the outreach from our industry, other industries, my mom neighborhood, all the people. So it's been really great, and I'm really this Power Hour today is very near and dear to my heart. So we today are going to talk about spotlighting your superpower as a woman. We all have them. So by the time we get done with this session today, you should be able to identify which one of these 8 are yours, or maybe you have one that I didn't cover, and I would love to know that as well. Erin's going to be on the chat for us today. I encouraged her. This is super casual, you guys. If you know me, I'm not super buttoned up all the time. So let's make this interactive. Type in the chat. If you want to unmute and interrupt me too, Erin doesn't have to be the only one. So with that, we will get started. So these are the 8 superpowers we're going to cover today. And with a few of these, when we get there, we are going to do some exercises. So I need you to have a notebook, something to write with in front of you. I need you to have your phone accessible. We're going to use our phone for something. So make sure you have everything ready to go. And if you can turn your camera on, great, but I totally get that we are all multitasking, driving, going 90 miles an hour. So if you have to keep that camera off for safety purposes, please do so. All right, so we're going to start with empathy versus compassion. One of the things I want you to write down is when we get off the call today, I want you to Google Harvard Business Review. There is a quick couple-page article read called Pity to Compassion, and it identifies the different levels of what is the definition of pity to sympathy to empathy, compassion, the differences in all of those. And I was really quick, Erin, my camera's on, right? You can see me? Okay, I can't see myself, which is a good thing, but I just wanted to make sure y'all can see me. All right, so this article tells you the difference in the 4, and it's really fascinating. I doubt anybody on this call really is at the pity level, but I want you to read this article. We don't have time for me to go into it today. I just want to give you some tips and tricks for this course today on empathy, but I encourage you to read it, and it will help you identify maybe a strength or a weakness of yours. So when it comes to somebody in your personal or your professional life that's going through something, empathy is key. And most women naturally possess empathy. It's okay if you don't. This may not be your superpower that you identify with today. But the tips and tricks I want to talk about, this lady here has a sweatshirt on. No more cliches. We're all guilty of it. When's the last time you said to a friend or a coworker, everything happens for a reason, everything's going to work out? Although those feel good in the moment to say things like that, really, they come across pretty generic and they don't really land. They don't perceive empathy to the person you're talking to. And sometimes you don't know what to say, and that's okay too. Know that if somebody else is going through something, whether you may think it's not a big deal to them, they could be in it. They could be in that tunnel and there's no light at the end and their world is being consumed by whatever's going on at the time. If you're contemplating saying something and you're like, oh, I don't know if I should, or, they're going through this, I know, do it. You will never regret saying something, even if it's maybe the wrong thing, but at least you tried, you said something, you recognized it. To just leave the elephant in the room is such a terrible feeling to that other person, because if they're going through it, it's in their brain, whether you bring it up or not. So Always, always say something. Sometimes a hug can go a long way if you're a hugger. Sometimes just saying like, I don't know what to say, but I'm here. Like, you tell me, what do you need? Making really healthy eye contact can also go a long way when you're coaching somebody that reports to you, or you're talking to your best friend or family member that's going through something. If you don't know what to do, ask another friend that has possibly been through something similar and say, what did someone do for you when you were going through that back in the day? That may spark an idea of something that you could do that will resonate. And the biggest difference on this slide between empathy and compassion, empathy is truly taking on the feelings of someone else, right? You are in that sinking boat with them. You are taking on their emotions. It's not a bad thing. But if there's no action associated anywhere, then you're just going to be like drowning in each other's empathy and not being able to move from empathy to compassion. So empathy plus action equals compassion. If you actually do something for somebody that's going through it, that is going to be perceived as compassion to the other person. And you want to be, empathy is great, but you want to be perceived as a compassionate person. And then my one caution to you on this, for those of you that you're like, yeah, oh, this is totally my superpower. This is my strength. I am so empathetic. I'm such a compassionate person. That is amazing. But you, if that is you, you also need to be highly sensitive to compassion fatigue. Because if you are just showing empathy all over the place and just being so compassionate and you're just doing stuff for others, but not paying attention to yourself, that can also drain you and be really exhausting. So empathy to compassion requires action, but can also drain you if you're not careful, okay? The last thing I'll leave before we go to the next slide is we've all been through things. We've all lost family members. We've had sick family members. We've lost jobs. Everybody has been through something. And I will tell you that I have two kiddos. Gunnar is 11 now. For those of you who knew me when I was pregnant, Gunnar is now 11 and Reese is 8. And both my babies were NICU babies. I don't know what it was. They told me I was too loud. They just did not want to stay in there. So I birthed really early babies. And the NICU was a big part of our journey when my kids were little. And I will never forget this friend. She texted me at like 7:30 in the morning. And she said, I know you're probably driving to the NICU. You're going to be there all day. You've had to leave Gunnar at home. I was going to see Reese. And she said, I'm in the lobby. You don't have to come see me. I'm just here. I'm just here. And if you need me or you want to eat the crappy food in the cafeteria, I'll buy you Chick-fil-A. Whatever it is, I'm here. And if you don't have time to come down, I will just be down here praying for you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that really stuck with me because she just showed up and was there. I ended up getting to see her. She took me out to eat lunch and a margarita that day. It was great. But, just doing something, you guys, is amazing. All right. I'm going to get off the empathy soapbox. Any questions, anything in the chat we need to address? If this is you, type, this is my superpower, and I will continue to be empathetic and have action to create compassion, but I'm not going to let it fatigue myself. Okay? That's your motto for today. All right. Moving on. Time management. Oh my gosh. Well, I will tell you that I personally think this is my superpower of all the things in this deck, okay? I'm a super time manager, probably because I'm type A, OCD, really controlling. I don't know if anybody else can relate, but that's me. So at the end of the day, you have to have a calendar or a plan or something. I don't care if you're like, I don't do digital, I do all paper calendars. That's great if that works for you. If you are like me and you don't have any paper and you're all digital, great. Most of you will benefit from using both. And this is a Think Lab. For those of you who follow Think Lab in the A&D community industry, they use the word phygital a lot, which I love. And that is a good, healthy combination of physical and digital to-do lists, calendars, agendas, all of it, okay? So make sure that you have a system for your calendar, for your to-do list, for your brainstorming. If you're running a team, for your team. If you don't have any tool, if you can't identify right now in this moment what your tools are, then let's start there, okay? All right. I want everybody to get out their to-do list while we're talking. Maybe it's a piece of paper, maybe it's in your calendar, maybe it's on your phone. So while I'm continuing to cover this slide, I want you to get out your to-do list because we're going to have something at the end, okay? All right, Kanban. So Erin said enter your superhero in the beginning, and I actually just entered a superpower. But if I could have a title as a superhero, I would want to be Kanban girl, okay, in the industry. Kanbaning, you can Google this as well. Put this on your to-do list. Harvard Business Review, pity to compassion was the first thing. And now I want you to write down Google Kanban. Like what? Whitney's lost her mind. What is she talking about? I actually got this idea from my husband several years back. He said, have you ever tried Kanbaning, like for your style of leadership and all that? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I started per his suggestion, and I've never looked back. So Kanban is essentially a physical whiteboard or a virtual whiteboard where it is everything that you have to do at a high level by stages. So you have ideas, to do, doing, and done are your column headers, okay? And then within that, Post-it notes. Instead of writing on a whiteboard and erasing and rewriting and erasing for all of you perfectionists with your handwriting, instead of doing that, write everything with a Sharpie on a Post-it and then stick it on the whiteboard. And then once a week, every couple weeks, before you leave that office or before you log out of your laptop, make sure you can move at least one Post-it throughout the year. And if you're doing that, you know you're making progress, you know you have to get certain things done. You can use this personally or professionally. And Kanban has become a part of my life to where at this point I have to do it. If I don't, I think I'll go crazy. And if you need a virtual digital tool recommendation to try this, Google has a free software called Miro, M-I-R-O, all lowercase, and you can get on and try it. Okay, so think of a Kanban as almost like your big brain, your big ideas, everything you have to get done in a year, whatever initiatives you're working on, and then all the Post-its are the to-do list, okay? And most of you are going to have a combination like we talked about. You're going to have a journal you take notes in. You're going to have your calendar synced on your phone, but this will hold you accountable to where if you do this for 1 year, your organization will think of you as a visionary and a strategic leader, but at the same time, you execute and get things done, which is really hard to do. A lot of people are good executors. A lot of people are good visionaries. Not very many people are really good at both. And this Kanban can hold yourself accountable to make sure those Post-its are moving down towards the done column. Okay? All right, so you learned something today. You learned about Kanban. All right, some other recommendations I have for you in the time management space is calendar blocking. Even calendar blocking a 15-minute brain break, or calendar blocking a quick walk outside or walk around the office, wherever you are. Put everything on your calendar, because then you won't just have 8 one-hour meetings and that's all you get done in a day. So calendar block everything. Try to shorten those meetings to 30 minutes. Start a meeting at 11:05 instead of 11 to give yourself a 5-minute prep so you're more prepared for the meeting. Also, you can use AI. There is a software called Fireflies to be your note taker on meetings that will provide you a summary so you're not sitting there rewriting your own notes and having to consolidate. Use technology to help summarize your notes. Okay, another really good Harvard Business School recommendation is a book called Getting It All Done. I won't get into it because if I start talking about it, we'll talk about it till the end of the call. We won't cover the other slides, but just trust me. If you are somebody that struggles with time management, that you feel pulled between your personal and your professional world, I actually hate the term work-life balance, even though I have it on my slide. I prefer the term personal and professional alignment to make sure that you're giving to both whenever you're at personal or professional. And this book, Getting It All Done, the biggest takeaway for me when I read it, when I first became a manager years ago, was we have this tendency to want to separate like church and state, right? We're going to separate our personal. Don't bring work home. Don't bring the drama home. Don't bring your personal to work. No one has time for that. And I think that's a really old school of thought. I think that you can take your strengths professionally and pull those at home, and you can take your strengths personally and bring those to the workplace, and then they both benefit. I'll give you one quick example. So a lot of times when I was managing a team of young architectural reps, right, and they're just, oh my gosh, I don't want to log my calls. I don't want to do this. You know, it was a struggle, right? The administrative piece of rep life is hard. So instead of just saying, can you log your call? I wasn't going to provide like a yes or no situation for my employee. I channeled my personal strength with my own children at home and giving them choices. And I started giving all my reps and all my team members a choice. And so then it was like there was buy-in and they had a say. And they said, okay, we're gonna choose to log the call right after the call in my car versus waiting to log it when I get home that night. And then on the flip side, like I said, I'm the Kanban girl. That's my like superpower. So y'all are going to think I'm crazy, but my kids Kanban with us. I brought that home into our place of living, and we have a whiteboard and the kids Kanban, and we're building that skill set with them. So you can take these strengths from personal and professional and pull them in and feel this really sense of alignment. Okay. Work-life balance. I'm going to change this slide after this, actually. We're going to table that vocabulary. We're just going to call it personal and professional alignment. So read the book. Maybe it'll speak to you. Maybe it won't. And then I will leave you with this before we do the exercise with your to-do list that you have in front of you. Shonda Rhimes is a genius. For those of you who don't know who she is, she's a writer for like Grey's Anatomy and other big hits. She did a Dartmouth commencement speech several years ago, but she ended by saying, whenever you see me somewhere succeeding in one area of my life, like at work, then I most certainly means I'm failing at another part of my life. And the example she gave was, when I'm meeting deadlines at work, I'm missing bath time. When I'm reading books to my kids at night, I'm missing a deadline. And so as working women, whether you have kids or not, whether you're a dog mom, whether you just have a life outside of work, know that when you're on the personal side, you're probably going to feel like you're not getting stuff done. And when you're on the professional side, you're going to feel guilty that you're not there personally. It's normal. It's okay. It's our reality. So you just have to give everything you can in that moment, whichever side of the fence you're on. Okay? All right. So take your to-do list and I want you to scroll through it. You might have, some people have a mix of personal and professional on one list. You are a psychopath. That is fine. But for those of you who have it personal and professional, look through your list. And it can be anything. I want you to pick one thing, and you're just going to cross it off. And hear me, you're not going to do it ever. You're going to let it go, like Elsa and Frozen. You're just going to let it go. I guarantee as women, we have this need to be busy and create to-do lists and rewrite them. And there is at least one thing on your list that if it doesn't get done, the world is not going to end, and you're going to let it go. And this is going to be your empowering moment where you're not going to put things on your to-do list that don't move the needle. The story I'll give you, I had a girl that I mentored for a couple years, and I did this exercise with her. And when she showed me her to-do list, it was a whole page. I was like, when's that going to get done? So she had wall sconce written on her list. I was like, what's that? What's wall sconce? Oh, well, there's this wall sconce in my hallway. It's really ugly. I want to change it out. I'm like, do you need, like, what's going to happen if you change that wall sconce? You're going to spend money. Sure, it'll be more attractive, but like, I made her show me a picture of it. It was actually not ugly. It just bothered her. So we crossed that off the list. She never changed the wall sconce. And years later, to this day, when I catch up with her, she's like, I walk by that wall sconce every day. And I'm like, yes, wall sconce. And now she loves it because it's this moment of empowerment. It was one thing that I don't need to do that. What is that going to do? Just make a prettier wall sconce? It's an absolutely fine one. So it's a cheesy example, but I want you to cross something off right now, and you're just not going to do it. And it's going to be okay. All right? Thumbs up if you're good with that. Did you cross something off? Okay. Erin, you want to get some chat going? Are people crossing things off?
Yes.
Okay, let's
Yes.
hear them.
Alexa Ray is going to cross off paying her bills. So I hope you're good with that, Whit.
Okay, maybe not that.
I was like, I had to make a
Melanie?
joke about that, but
No, that's really funny. Yep. Melanie's crossing off going to the gym. Whitney, you are, I mean, wow, you're really taking people's to-do list way down.
If you don't go to the gym today, what's going to happen? Oh, you have a day of rest? Oh my gosh, when's the last time you had a day of rest, right? It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. All right.
Clean the garage.
Oh, yeah.
Laundry. It's a good one. Laundry was mine.
Yeah. Garages are supposed to be messy. And if you're out of underwear, go to the store and buy a package. It's gonna be okay if you like wait a few days to do your laundry. Okay. Yeah, laugh at yourself about it. I mean, look at if you have more than like 20 things on your list, it's just going to continue to be 20 things until December 31st. It'll rotate, but it's going to continue to be a lot. Like, just give yourself some grace. If you can like get everything done on your list and cross stuff off and just like let it go, then if you ever have a night where you're like, I've arrived, I have nothing else left to do today, that's amazing. That's really hard to do. Okay, the last thing I will give you, this was sort of my motto when I was a brand new manager and I was juggling like 2 toddlers and a husband that traveled and I traveled. I mean, I was like, we were losing our minds over here in Dallas. And I came up with this concept called live in the now. Okay. We have technology at our fingertips, right? You have your phone right there. We're on our computers. And most of you have a notebook. Instead of in a meeting writing down like, oh my gosh, I've got to do this after this meeting. Okay, I'll follow up. I'll send you this. If it's a big group and it's a collaborative feeling type of meeting, do it right then and there. Live in the now. Click on your calendar and add someone to a calendar invite while you're talking to them. That is okay. It is considered multitasking, but you will leave that. If you can leave a meeting with nothing on your to-do list, then you had a working meeting, an effective meeting that's super efficient. Coach other people in this space. Hey, we have 10 minutes left until our next meeting. Let's just knock out a couple of these things we said we were going to do later tonight. I don't want to do these later tonight. Take control of your bandwidth. Get some back. Okay? All right. Woo!
Whit, can you just confirm the 3 Kanban columns to do, in progress, and done?
There's 4 ideas. So that's like your big ideas that can't be in the second column, which is to do yet, because you don't even know what those ideas are going to be, right? Ideas, to do, doing, and done.
Okay,
And
thank you.
And if you, when you start your Kanban, if you will color code by all your ideas are blue, all your to do is yellow, so on. Throughout the year, as you move those, it's really cool to see like all the purple ideas that didn't even like know what they were going to be yet, and they ended up at the finish line at the end of the year. That's pretty cool to see, like how fast things moved. If you can do some color coding that makes sense for your world. Okay.
I had a quick question too.
Yeah.
With the professional and personal alignment, my biggest thing is calendar, right? So you have a work calendar and you have a personal calendar. Do you have any tips for how to sync those better, or a shared app? Because a lot of companies don't allow you to share your person, to sync them together. So how do you overcome that and create one master calendar without creating a lot of duplicate work?
Right. Yeah. Company policies can get in the way sometimes of our professional personal alignment. So I have an iPhone and I have my Gmail, which is synced to all my personal to-do list, and now my consulting email attached to all my professional. I have them all on my phone. When I enter a calendar invite, I choose, is it personal, professional? It's color coded. It's all in one place. If you don't have that luxury, I don't know, I'd have to think about that, right? Because you're just really constricted to what your company is going to allow on the phone. Maybe you have some sort of handwritten calendar that has everything on it, and you have 2 separate phones with your digital calendars. I don't know. That's tough, Erin. It's really tough. Yeah, I would try to get it all in one place if at all possible. Talk to your IT department, see if there's a workaround. All in one place, easy accessible, color coded to be able to share it with your village and who's helping. to be able to share that too is important. Okay.
So hey, Whitney and Erin,
Yeah.
I have two phones now.
Hi.
I've never had two phones. I mean, I had one phone for 25 years that was personal and work. It just was one phone. Now I have a work phone, and I had two separate calendars. So I ended up just putting everything on my work calendar in Outlook because that's what I can see and sync, and I make every appointment private.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And somebody at Mohawk said, just make everything private. No one's going to ask you.
Yeah.
But that way they don't know if it's a personal or professional appointment. And so now I have one calendar, but everything is private. So
Genius.
that worked for me.
Yeah.
Genius.
Thanks, Ellen.
Love that.
You're
Great
welcome.
tip.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
tip. All right. Anything else before we move on? That's probably the most popular slide. So I'm glad we spent a lot of time on it because we could all have our to-do list more buttoned up and thinner. All right. So this next slide is called the power of questions. I probably could have also titled it Gently Commanding a Room. So let me explain. When you're in a meeting with a bunch of people, all male, all female, blend, whatever it may be, I think women have a soft nature about them a lot of times where we're not afraid to speak up in the form of questions. We're not insecure about asking a question. And that is a superpower when you're in a meeting to where you can gently command the room. You don't need to go in and slam your hand on the desk and get attention and try to prove yourself in a man's world because the flooring industry is very male dominated. So I want to give you some tips and tricks. I want you to visualize yourself in a boardroom, in a conference room, in a meeting, one that you have consistently. All right. So when you're in this meeting and you're speaking on a topic, I want you to look around. And when Sally Beth is talking, see what people are doing. When Joe Bob's talking, see what people are doing. If people are leaning in with their body language, it's like they think that person adds value. They want to hear what that person has to say. Watch body language, if they're focused, if they're actually looking. If somebody starts talking and the room does this and leans back and is like, oh my gosh, this person again, they're just going to talk for 20 minutes, then notice that and then reflect upon yourself. Are you the butterfly in the room that lands on the table that everybody like stops and holds their breath and is like, oh, we don't want the butterfly to leave. We don't want that person to stop adding value or stop talking. Or are you the mosquito in the room that's like everybody's swatting their leg and like telling the mosquito to go away? There's like won't stop. So I encourage you to observe your peers when you're in a meeting and also have some self-reflection on who you are. How are you showing up? Okay. Some other things that can make you look good in a room are, I call it make a list. I really need to come up with like a better something to call it, but make a list. So let's say Erin's leading this meeting and she says, we're going to talk about general contractors today. And Ellen's like, I know more than anybody in the room about general contractors. So instead of her chiming in first, Ellen's going to take her pen and she's just going to write general contractors on her paper. She's going to start jotting down every little note, every little tidbit or thing that she knows, right? Then she's going to wait, which is really hard, like especially for me. I am a talker, I am type A, so I had to train myself how to do this. If you are introverted and you're on this call, you're like, Whitney, I already do this. This is like how introverts operate, okay? But you're going to write down every little thing and then you're going to watch. And somebody's going to say, oh, it's really important that the general contractor give visibility to which subs are bidding or whatever, right? So then you cross that one off the list. And as people bring up different topics, you cross them off your list. Now, here's the tricky part. You know when you can like feel a conversation coming to an end and you're like, ooh, we're about to move on. We're not going to be talking about general contractors anymore. That's when you chime in and you look at your list and there's probably 2 or 3 things there that were not covered, or maybe one thing that wasn't covered. You are not going to use redundancy and say, oh, I also support what Ellen said, because that's a waste of space. She already said it. So do not have redundancy. Do not say, I want to layer on, or I concur, I want to expand on that. No, get rid of all that language and just say, one thing I haven't heard in the room is that general contractors are actually an up and coming influencer on commercial jobs. Let's talk about what level of influence they have. Bam. You let everybody else speak first. You added value at the end. You didn't create redundancy, and you just commanded the room very gently without being the loudest talker, the first one to chime in. Okay. So the make the list can really help you pause and let other people go first, but still add value and be viewed as a butterfly in the room. Okay. All right. Then the last thing I will touch on is I call it, some people refer to this as like a seed plant before a meeting, or I like to call it a silent agenda. If you're going into a meeting that's going to have controversial topics and you know it's going to get heated, all right, and you know your stance and you know the other players in the room that are on your side of the fence, hit them up, right? Say, hey, we're going to go into this meeting. It's going to be tough. You're with me, right? On this, we're aligned. Oh, absolutely. Great. I want you to chime in too. So if you can kind of ask your allies to speak up in a meeting, you create this unified front, again, gently commanding that room, and you may be able to move the needle and actually get things done and remove obstacles from your organization if people are coming together and aligned in a meeting. Okay? Now, if you are a talker, so for my introverts, you should be speaking up more. You know this already. I don't need to tell you. For my extroverts and my talkers, sometimes if you get to the end of your list and you knew everything about general contractors and you get to the end of the list and there's nothing else left to say, do not just say something to say something. Just be quiet and let the next topic come. It's really hard to do. It's really hard to do. But if you can do it, sometimes being quiet can say, oh, Whitney, are you okay? Yeah, you guys covered it all. I don't really have anything else to add. You guys nailed it. That is like a secure leader that has let all these other people have the limelight. And like, great, let's move on to the next one. Okay. So these are just like tips and tricks from all my years in a male boardroom of how, and being perceived as young, even though I'm not young, but I look young. And so trying to combat that and really command a room in a space full of really dominant men. Okay. I realize all of y'all situations are different, but what do we think about that? You feel good about it? Can you walk into the next room with like a plan on how you're going to be heard? Yeah? Okay. All right. All right. This is another exercise. This time I want you to get your phone out and I want you to open up your text. And on your paper, I want you to write 3 to 5 women down on your paper that are your ride or die, your circle of trust, your mentor, your best friend, your mom. Like, who are your people that are women? Write them down. Then in your phone, I want you to pick it up and either do a group text with these women or individual text, whichever way. And I want you to say something to the extent of, I'm in this training. This speaker is wheels off, but I am going to ask for 3 to 5 words that describe me. Good, bad, whatever you want to give me. 3 to 5 words that are my brand, like what you think of me. Okay? All right, so that's going to, once y'all hit send here in a couple minutes, like a minute, those are going to start to come in. And then we're going to talk about at the end of this slide what to do with them. But go ahead and send the text now while I'm talking. It's okay. We can do a couple things at once. All right, I want to talk about resiliency. And I have to give my son the credit for this slide because he is obsessed with all things animals and knows the weirdest facts about animals. Last year, when I made a big career change, he said to me one day, Mom, do you know why flamingos are white? Have you ever been to the zoo and seen a white flamingo amongst all the pink ones? I know you have. You just probably don't realize it. I used to think like, oh, that's a male flamingo or something. I didn't know. Well, come to find out, per my son, flamingos that are white are female flamingos that have just given birth and are giving all of their nutrients to the baby chicks. and literally are giving everything to where they have zero color left in their body. I mean, is that not, for all you moms on this call, is that not the most relatable analogy ever, that you literally lose your color because you're giving so much? So remember when we talked about compassion fatigue? This ties back in to empathy, okay? So you're white, and then here's the good news though. Once those baby chicks are good, the mom's color actually comes back and she turns pink again, okay? But I want you to really think about the flamingo differently. If we were all in person, I don't know if you can see my background here. I have a couple flamingo things, but I pass out flamingo pens at this training typically on the in-person ones because it's such a relatable analogy. And when you are feeling like you have lost your color and you're white, who are your people? Who do you go to? And that's these women that you just texted. So I want you to type in the chat, right, Erin? Are we going to pull the chat and see what are some of the words that you guys got back that you love? Let's see if we have a few popping in.
We don't have any yet, but go ahead, ladies, if anybody's gotten anything back.
So while we're waiting on some of these to jump in here, I will tell you what I want you to do with this list. Whether you get all one text back or multiple texts, once you copy and paste and put this in a notes app or something that you reference on your phone all the time. I want you to put that list of words there. And when you are having imposter syndrome, when you feel like your color is gone, when you have compassion fatigue, when you just don't want to do it that day, and you're up and you're trying to get your day going, having your coffee, working out, whatever it is that you do first thing in the morning, I want you to read this list, because I guarantee the words that came back are probably like bringing tears to your eyes. And you're like, I didn't know people thought that about me. That's amazing. And you need to remind yourself what these women in your life think about you. Because if they're not telling you regularly, you're not telling yourself who's pumping you up, who is creating the space for you to be resilient, right? All right.
We got some really good ones back.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Loyal, empathetic, organized, fun, thoughtful, outgoing, personable, vivacious, another thoughtful,
Good one.
artistic, social, cheerful, charming, courageous, genuine, fun, trustworthy, strong, bold, goal-oriented, ambitious, self-aware, positive. These are some really good ones.
Good.
Yeah.
Love it. So keep these words. I guarantee when we get done and somebody says, what was your favorite thing about the Spotlighting Your Superpower on the Wi-Fi Power Hour? You're going to say, oh my gosh, all these words that came back. This is going to like fill your cup today. So then save it for the rainy days or in the days you don't have color. Cool. All right. All right. Let's talk about motivation. Love this topic. I want you to look at this slide and what are your true motivators? Like your true. You probably didn't even know. There's more than this. This is just the ones I could come up with. You probably didn't realize that there was this many motivators out there. Okay. The ones in red, career advancement, financial, and title, are historically male motivators. If you look at statistics, men are motivated by the 3 in red. If these are also your 3, that is okay. There is no right answer to this. So here's the point. I want you to write down either 1, 2, or 3 motivators on this list, or maybe I missed one, but I want you to write them down. And I'm going to say, as women, you probably haven't asked yourself this question. What is my actual motivator? You've probably really never taken the time to think through this. So once you have your list, I want you to do a few things with this, okay? Number 1, I want you to tell your direct boss what your motivators are. They may have asked you. Great, you have a good leader. They have not asked you. So let's say that your motivator is financial, okay? And you haven't gotten a raise in years. No merit increase, no performance raise, nothing. And your boss keeps saying like, oh, you can have a super flexible schedule. Like you can, shut your computer at 3 o'clock on Friday, like, And they are trying to motivate you and retain you as a team member by giving you flexibility. And you could give 2 cares in the world about flexibility. That's not your motivator. Your motivator is money. So understand, first of all, what are your motivators and why? Share it with your boss. And also, if you have direct reports, ask them. Look, share this slide with them. Tell me what your main motivator is. Because what if you're recognizing the person that's so introverted and terrified of being recognized? You're actually demotivating them. You think you're doing a great job as a leader, but you might be having like the opposite impact, right? Have you ever thought about motivation like this? I hadn't. I think it's great. So tell your boss, ask your people, understand what people's motivators are. You do this for 1 year, you might start actually retaining employees if you're having a retention issue. Okay? What are some people's motivators? Can we enter into the chat? Let's see.
Money.
Okay. I'll tell you mine. Mine is impact.
Helping others, relationships, financial, passion, work life, impact, culture, flexibility, recognition, winning,
I don't think I
career
have
advancement.
I didn't have culture on. Oh no, culture's right there. Did I miss any? Is there one that I didn't get? I'd love to know if there's a motivator that's not on here. That's someone's. Okay. All right. Does this make sense? It's such a simple concept, I know, but we probably haven't taken the time to understand what ours are, message it upwards so that we're happy, and then also ask our people what theirs are. Very simple, but very, very, very effective. All right. Okay, we have 2 more slides, so hang tight. We will get through these quickly. Really, the big takeaway for me on this is I personally think that the word authenticity and the word transparency are buzzwords that are used interchangeably, and they really shouldn't be. They're very different things. But I hear people all the time say, oh, I want to be authentic and transparent. They almost like lump them together. And let me be crystal clear that you should definitely be authentic at all costs, no matter what. Be true to yourself. You can see the things here that authenticity, I'm not going to like read the slide verbatim because you guys can read, but be authentic to yourself. It is key, okay? When it comes to transparency, on the other hand, I think that you would be wise to have different levels of transparency depending on who you're talking to. Are you talking to a warehouse person, a designer, a customer, your boss's boss? Okay, so you have to almost be this chameleon in the space of transparency and make sure that you are sharing appropriate levels of information depending on who you're talking to. So this slide's very simple. Stay authentic, stay true to yourself, but maybe manage your level of transparency depending on the situation. And you lean into that emotional intelligence. I know a lot of you guys on this call have high EQ. Use it. Use it in this space. Okay? I will do a shameless plug here, Erin. In addition to starting a company, because I didn't have enough on my plate, I'm writing a book actually. And so the book is called Off the Record. And this is a big part of the book towards the middle of the section. It really dives into authenticity versus transparency. So, you know, just planting that little seed there. And then once it's published next year, you guys can read more about this. All right, last but not least, forward thinking. A lot of times we get in this state of busyness and reactivity, and we're not being proactive, and we're not thinking about the future, and we're not being game changers and visionaries, and we're just trying to survive and get it done. So we didn't talk about delegation today because I actually have delegation as an area for growth for women. So it's in part 2 of this presentation that we're not covering today because women are terrible delegators. That's why it's not in the superpowers. But If you can figure out delegating, then you can get into this forward thinking space. You have to get out of your comfort zone if you want to be known as your brand as a forward thinker in an organization, which a lot of you on this call already are. You have to have an entrepreneur mindset. Okay. So I put this last because this can be a strength of women if we can get out of our own way and delegate and get into that proactive, strategic mindset. My best advice to you would be to use ChatGPT, okay, or some form of AI. We mentioned Fireflies earlier on the call as a note-taking tool to summarize your meetings for you. That's great. You should be utilizing ChatGPT, and make sure that you have actually downloaded the app. It's free still, but that you are not just using your browser. If you're just getting into the browser and going to ChatGPT and searching things, it doesn't save, it doesn't learn your behavior. If you download the app and create an account, it's still free, but it will save your ChatGPT chats and it will learn your behavior. If you will do some of these things and start to use it regularly, then your work is cut in half and you can actually start to get in a space. Make ChatGPT your friend on forward thinking. Hey, here's what we're doing today. Here's my band-aid of a solution I have right now. What do you think, ChatGPT? What would be next? What would be the forward thinking space instead of reactivity? Literally ask it that question and it will spit something amazing out for you. Use it. So using ChatGPT is an example of getting out of your comfort zone so that you can be viewed as a forward thinker in your organization. Okay? All right. Last but not least, if you can, I want you to unmute. Everybody's muted right now, but if you can, if you don't have like crazy background noise, please unmute. And I want you to all repeat after me, and we're going to yell it, and it's going to feel ridiculous, but this is how I end all my sessions, virtual or not. So unmute if you can, and I want you to say, I am a woman.
I
am
a
a woman.
Okay. And yes,
And yes,
I will enhance
I will
enhance
my superpowers.
my
superpowers.
Okay, so you entered your superhero for Erin at the beginning. Now I want you to enter what is your superpower, whether it's one I covered today or one that I didn't cover today. What is your superpower? Know that about yourself. Bring that value to every virtual meeting, every conference room, every phone call, everything. Know who you are, know what your brand is, and bring it. Okay? That's all I have, Erin.
Awesome. Thank you, Whit.
Yeah.
You just have one slide at the end just to pop up the QR code again. So thank you all for attending. This we host these every month. Next month, we're going to do one on color. We have a color profilist that has the colors divided up and can kind of guide you of which colors look best for you for season. It's going to be really interesting. These are completely free, and being involved in this organization is free. I've met a lot of you on this call who have become friends, and Whitney, I love you. It's I love you more when you're not a competitor. So this is awesome. We now can have a different relationship. So thank you so much for.
We were friends anyways, Erin.
I know. I'm just kidding. So thank you all for joining us. I highly encourage you to get involved with Wi-Fi. There's lots of ways to get involved and even just sitting on the power hour. So thank you so much. More information on the QR code. Thanks again to Whitney. And I hope everyone has a great Monday.